Top 9 Worst Wedding Dresses Worn by Celebrities. Weddings are supposed to be magical, a once-in-a-lifetime moment, a dress that lives forever in photos, headlines, and cultural memory. But when celebrities walk down the aisle, the pressure multiplies. Every stitch is judged. Every fabric choice becomes a debate. And sometimes, what's meant to be iconic ends up unforgettable for all the wrong reasons. Some wedding dresses are criticized years later. Others spark backlash instantly. And a few become cautionary tales, proof that fame, money, and couture connections don't guarantee good taste. Today, we're counting down the 9 worst wedding dresses ever worn by celebrities, not because they were cheap or rushed, but because they confused, disappointed, or outright shocked the public. Let's begin. At number 9, Celine Dion. Celine Dion's wedding dress is one of the most talked about bridal looks of the 1990s, and not in a flattering way. When she married René Angelil in 1994, the dress was dramatic beyond belief. Heavy embroidery, an overwhelming silhouette. And then there was the headpiece, a towering creation reportedly weighing several pounds. Critics didn't hold back. The gown was described as excessive, costume-like, and visually exhausting. Instead of highlighting Celine herself, the dress seemed to swallow her whole. At a time when elegance was trending toward restraint, this look felt stuck between fantasy and spectacle. It wasn't timeless. It wasn't romantic. It was simply too much. And while Celine's talent has never been questioned, her wedding dress became an early example of how bigger doesn't always mean better. At number 8, Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson's wedding dress, or lack of one, still sparks debate decades later. When she married Tommy Lee in 1995, Pamela didn't wear a traditional gown at all. Instead, she chose a white bikini. Supporters called it bold and on-brand. Critics called it disrespectful, rushed, and completely devoid of ceremony. For many, it didn't feel like a wedding look. It felt like a publicity stunt. The issue wasn't modesty. It was meaning. Weddings carry symbolism, and this outfit appeared to reject all of it. Instead of timeless photos, the look became tabloid fuel. And while Pamela has always owned her image unapologetically, this bridal choice remains one of the most criticized celebrity wedding outfits ever. At number 7, Angelina Jolie. Angelina Jolie's wedding dress should have been perfect on paper. Custom-made, personal, emotional, covered in drawings created by her children. But that's exactly where the criticism began. When she married Brad Pitt, the gown's artwork, while deeply meaningful, overpowered the design itself. Fashion critics argued it looked unfinished, messy, and more like a craft project than a couture wedding dress. The intention was beautiful. The execution divided opinion. Many felt the dress sacrificed elegance for sentimentality. Others argued that a wedding gown should still stand on its own visually, especially when worn by one of Hollywood's most iconic figures. In the end, the dress became symbolic of Angelina herself, unconventional, polarizing, and immune to traditional expectations. At number 6, Kourtney Kardashian. Kourtney Kardashian's wedding look stunned fans, and not in the way she likely hoped. Instead of a flowing gown, she chose a very short, corset-style dress inspired by vintage lingerie. It was paired with a veil, creating a contrast many viewers found confusing. Critics said the look felt unfinished, overly sexualized, and completely mismatched with the gravity of a wedding ceremony. Some compared it to a stage costume rather than bridal attire. The dress sparked immediate backlash online, with fans questioning whether shock value had replaced style. In a family known for headline-grabbing fashion, this wedding dress still stood out, for being more controversial than celebratory. At number 5, Katie Price. Katie Price has worn multiple wedding dresses, but one, in particular, earned relentless criticism. The gown was massive, heavily embellished, and structured to the point of stiffness. Instead of elegance, it projected excess. Critics compared it to a pageant costume rather than a bridal look. The problem wasn't glamour, it was proportion. The dress overwhelmed her frame, lacked cohesion, and appeared designed more for spectacle than romance. Fashion writers described it as chaotic. Fans called it distracting, and even supporters admitted it didn't photograph well. It became a reminder that wedding dresses should enhance the bride, not compete with her. At number 4, Gwen Stefani. Gwen Stefani is a style icon. That's exactly why her wedding dress shocked so many people. When she married Gavin Rossdale, she wore a white gown dip-dyed in pink. The color choice was intentional and rebellious, but critics felt it dated the dress instantly. Instead of edgy, it felt gimmicky. Instead of timeless, it felt trendy. While some praised the boldness, many fashion experts agreed that the look aged poorly. What seemed playful in the moment later looked like a fashion experiment that didn't quite land. For an artist known for influencing trends, this dress became a rare misstep, proof that even style leaders can miss the mark on their biggest day. At number 3, Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian has worn multiple wedding dresses, but her first wedding gown is often cited as the worst. The dress was heavily embellished, awkwardly fitted, and visually cluttered. Critics described it as dated, overworked, and lacking sophistication. Unlike her later bridal looks, this one didn't reflect confidence or clarity of style. It looked like a celebrity trying too hard to appear glamorous, without knowing what kind of glamour she wanted. In hindsight, the dress mirrored the marriage itself, rushed, confused, and quickly left behind. It's rare for Kim to miss in fashion, but this early wedding dress remains one of her most criticized looks ever. At number 2, Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey's wedding dress was dramatic, but drama isn't always a compliment. The gown was enormous, heavy fabric, a long train, a silhouette that restricted movement. Critics said it looked uncomfortable and impractical. Instead of flowing elegance, the dress appeared stiff and overpowering. Many noted that Mariah seemed weighed down by it, both physically and visually. Fashion experts later argued that the dress reflected excess rather than joy. It became less about love and more about display. For a singer known for effortless glamour, the wedding look felt surprisingly forced. At number 1, Britney Spears. Britney Spears takes the top spot, and for painful reasons. Her wedding dress was criticized almost immediately. The fit was off. The fabric looked cheap. The overall design felt rushed and poorly executed. Fans were stunned. This was a global superstar, yet the dress looked unfinished, even careless. Some called it symbolic of the chaos surrounding her life at the time. Others felt it reflected a lack of support or guidance during a vulnerable period. Whatever the reason, the dress became infamous, not because it broke rules, but because it lacked intention. Instead of celebrating Britney, the dress became another reminder of how badly things were going behind the scenes. And that's why it earns the number 1 spot. Celebrity wedding dresses live forever. They're archived, dissected, and compared for generations. The worst ones aren't always ugly, they're mismatched, disconnected, or built on shock rather than meaning. A wedding dress doesn't need to be expensive. It doesn't need to be trendy. It needs to feel right. Because when the photos last longer than the marriage, the dress tells the real story. If you enjoyed this breakdown, stay tuned, because fashion mistakes don't end at weddings. Sometimes, the biggest style disasters happen when the cameras are rolling. And those are coming next.